Namastasmai kasmai chana bhavatu nishkinchana jana swayam rakshadhiksha swayamadhika samindhana yashase suradhisha svairakshana kupita shapayudavadhu drishatta durjataf prashamana padamboja rajase. This particular shlok describes how Ahalya, who was cursed to be a stone, was brought back to her original form by the Lord. Now, while we were discussing this particular incident, we need to understand the feeling or the inner feeling of our Dharma Shastras, because Ram was an incarnation of the Lord where he had to depict the inner meaning of the Shastras. Shastras say, Dharmo Vigrahavan Adharma Viratim. Ram was nobody other than the embodiment or incarnation of the entire Dharma. Dharmo Vigrahavan Adharma Viratim. So he was born as an embodiment of all righteousness and Dharma to annihilate the evil forces. Now, what does this particular incident describe? Which is Ahalya, who was cursed to be a stone and then turned to the original form. What does this describe? That the Lord's feet can cure a person from any kind of sin that he incurs. Second, the Lord's feet has the ability and has the feeling to forgive any person, because when we speak of the Lord and ourselves, it's a huge difference. When I speak of we speak of the entire community, the human community. We always have the feeling of getting, we always want to get things from others, so we get and we forget. So we get and we forget. This is our attitude. This is human mentality. But what is special about Paramatma, who is different from us, is he gives. He just knows to give. Gives and he forgives. So we get and we forget, and he gives and he forgives. So here Ahalya, what she got was the entertainment or that kind of feeling that she had while she was in a relationship with Indra. But what Ram depicts here is that of Paramatma. He forgave her. So she got something for her sensual pleasure, while he forgave her for the kind of turmoil that she had undergone, because while she was a stone, she would have been repenting. So this kind of an attitude, this kind of a bhavam, this kind of a feeling of forgiving is very special to the Lord. That is why when people ask if God exists, the important question is, if there is a feeling, if at all there is a feeling in this world which talks about forgiving, and that forgiving attitude can only rest in the Lord and not with human beings. We may try to be forgiving. We have forgiven in certain instances, no doubt. There are people who forgive. But the all forgiving attitude is always with the Lord. So Ram recognized the turmoil and the remorse which Ahalya had taken, and he forgives her. So this incident tells us as to how forgiving or how little forgiving should we be, because even if we start with 0.01%, we may be at least able to reach at least 1% by the death by this particular janma. So Ram conveys, this particular incident conveys this particular meaning. Now the verse that I started at the first, Namastasmai kasmai chana bhavatu nishkinchana jana swayam rakshadiksha swayamadhika samindhana yashase suradhisha swairakshana kupita shapayudavadhu. She, the one, Ahalya, who was the one who received the curse out of the anger from Gautam Rishi's mouth, Suradhisha Svairakshana Kupita Shapayudavadu Drishatta Durjata Prashamana Padamboja Rajase. Rajas in Sanskrit is dust. It seems the Lord did not go take his feet from the footwear and kept one of his foot on the stone. There was nothing like that. He walked. And he walked with his padukas, with his holy sandals, and that holy sandals hit on the ground, and while it was hitting on the ground, the dust that was there flew and it fell on that particular stone, and she had redemption from the curse that was given to her by her husband. So this particular incident is a very important incident, because if you take a great Sanskrit composer called Swati Tirunal from Kerala who lived centuries back, he says, Dinakaranvayatilayakam divyagayadhi suta savana Vanarajita Subahu Mukhavadham Ahalya Pavanam. Ahalya Pavanam. So she was made even more pure. She was made purer by his Padasparsham. So then he goes all the way to Gautam to describe this particular incident and tell him that you need to accept Ahalya. She might have committed a mistake, but please don't keep reminding people of their mistakes. They need to change. Then he walks further. Now while he walks, Vishwamitra was amazed. Let's see what he was amazed about. So he turns back, he looks back at Ram and he says, this is a verse that I am translating from a great verse composition from the Tamil poet Kamban, who says, it seems Vishwamitra turned. He said, Ram, I am surprised at what your hands have done, and I am surprised at what your legs have done, your feet have done. Rama asked, what is so surprising about my hands and what is so surprising about my feet? What have they done which you people don't do? Because Ram was always of the opinion that though he is the Lord, when he is born, he has to live like a human being. Atmanam manusham manye Ramam Dasharathatmajam. I am a human being. I am the son of Dasharatha. I am the son of Kaushalya. I am the brother to Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna. I am the husband to Sita. I am the master to Hanuman. So I am a human being. Atmanam manusham manye Ramam Dasharathatmajam was his inner feeling. So he asked Vishwamitra, hey Vishwamitra, what did you find so surprising in my act? Vishwamitra said, it's generally the attitude of human beings to ensure that a person needs to be encouraged with his hands. Generally they say give a pat at his back. You go pat a person saying that good, 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 I encourage you. And probably in the West they would say, oh my son, come and give me a hug. So if you will have to show your affection, if you will have to encourage someone, you always use your hands. And if you always have to show your anger, you would say, I will kick that person. So you use your foot, you use your leg. So to curse, to punish, to discourage, you use your foot. To encourage, to motivate, you use your hands. But Ram was quite peculiar in his behavior. The legs, the feet that have to discourage a person was the one who brought redemption of the curse to Ahalya. So he blessed Ahalya with his foot, whereas the feet have to discourage or punish a person. With his feet, he encouraged, he brought Ahalya back to life. Whereas the hands have always to encourage, motivate, you hug a person. Whereas with those hands, he killed Tataka. So with hands that have to encourage, he punished Tataka. With foot or the feet or the legs that have to discourage or punish, he brought redemption to the curse of Ahalya. Probably this is a very beautiful observation. So he says, Ivvannam Nigazhandavannam ini inda ulagukkellam uivannam mandrimattor uruvannam uruvadundo maivannat tarakki poril malaivannathu annale un kaivannam angu kandeen kaalvannam ingu kandeen. Probably this verse that I have recited in Tamil may sound quite, oh, what language is he saying? But all that we have to keep in our mind while we listen to Ramayana or Mahabharata is, India is a great land. India is a great land of the same scripture retold in different regional versions. So we need to appreciate every version. To a South Indian, though he may not understand Hindi or though he may not understand Sanskrit, he has to relish the great work of Valmiki and the great work of Tulsidas. To a person who is born in the north, who may not understand a South Indian language, still he has to understand what are the points that have been mentioned in the South Indian books. So it is only with a great attitude of openness that you can learn the best of both the worlds. Otherwise, if we are sticking to our own languages, our own culture, then we are just like a frog that is inside a well. A frog that is inside a well will always think that there is no world besides the well, because it does not want to come out of the well and look out how the outside world is. So we shouldn't be that way. So youngsters of this generation and the other generations, the forthcoming generations, should always have the attitude of a collaborative learning. I learn what is therein with me. I shall learn from other religions. I shall learn from other books, because learning is a continuous process. So that never stops. So with this, I would like to conclude this particular episode, which speaks about the importance of Ahalya, how Ram was all forgiving, and how Gautam Maharishi at the words of Ram accepted Ahalya and never ever thought back of the past that happened. So let us all keep all the bad memories that we have had in the past, and let's think only of the good memories, and let's proceed further, because all that we are going to see from now is a very interesting tale of Sita's marriage with Ram. So in Sanskrit the word is Vivaham, and Vivaham, which is marriage, is an auspicious incident. So you call it Kalyanam. Kalyanam means something which is auspicious. So we are going to witness the auspicious marriage, the Kalyana Vivaham or the Kalyanam or the Vivaham of Ram and Sita, before which we need to see what all happened before that. Let's see all of it in the next episode. Thank you.